Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Picture This, our new show, the other new show, Creed 3 Countdown, where we are going to be looking back through the Rocky franchise in anticipation for the newest installment, Creed 3. My name is Alex, and we couldn't get everybody to do the show because not everybody cares, but I found two people that do care very, very much. One of them is Jack Benjock.
Yeah.
The other one, who cares less now because we've already posted reviews for the first one, is Caleb Coe.
I was very excited to spend 8 weeks on the Rocky franchise, and then Alex comes to the group chat with nonsense. This is how we start. This hell of 8 weeks.
It's
God,
picture this all over again, where we're like, this will be great, and then we start and we're like, oh no, it turns out I don't like this at all.
Yeah, change our mind. Cancel the show. I don't want to do it. Alex hates Rocky. We're done.
Okay. To be clear, I don't hate Rocky the concepts. I hate Rocky the 1976 movie that happened to win Best Picture somehow. How did that happen? Okay, this show doesn't really have a format, I don't think.
Not really.
But I guess we could do ratings.
I guess. Like, here's basically what we can do. What we can do is essentially just take what we do on Picture This, just not spensed up.
That's true. Well, let's start with it because this is the first episode. So I guess we should talk about everyone's history with boxing and the Rocky franchise. I'll start because mine is the least complicated. My father is a huge Rocky fan, so I am vaguely aware of the plots of all of the Rocky films, and I think I've seen some of them like in the background, and you're like sitting, hanging out, playing, and then there's like a movie. I've seen at least one half of a Rocky movie. I thought it was the first one, but it turns out it's not, which makes me think that it's one of the it's got to be like 3 or 4. And then I am a big fan of the Creed franchise, which is the bulk of my experience with this particular franchise. And I'm also a huge enthusiast of combat sports. I love when people get punched in the face. I'm a big fan of that. Yeah, Jack, what's your deal?
I didn't watch the Rocky movies growing up. So something fell. I'll figure that out later. I didn't watch the Rocky movies growing up. First one I saw was Creed in like 2019, 2018, sometime way back when, before I was involved in the movie trivia league community. I loved Creed. I thought it was incredible, and we'll get to that in due course. But then 2.5 years ago, I saw Rocky for the first time, and I really enjoyed it. And I haven't seen another Rocky film since then. And things may have changed on this rewatch, and we'll get into that when we get to the show. Coho?
Yeah, I actually kind of similarly to Alex, my dad's a big fan of Rocky. So I've spent a good portion of my childhood watching the movies. And I remember I watched all of them leading into Creed. And my dad and I didn't see Creed in theaters. We rented it like 4 months later because like my dad wasn't necessarily aware that there was a movie that existed, that there was a 7th Rocky because it wasn't called Rocky. We watched that one, and from then on, it's just been like I watched them all the time. I saw Creed 2 like opening night, so I'm very excited for Creed 3.
Fair enough.
Cool.
All right.
Cool.
I guess we can get into the ratings. We'll go bottom up. We'll start with the lowest opinions, like with the worst opinions, some would say, and work our way up to what Coho would call.
Just put mine up there. Just put it up there.
God,
this movie is so
excessively low.
This movie is. I don't think it's the worst Best Picture winner of all time.
Holy shit!
But like, I did my calcs yesterday, and it was like I didn't have to scroll up to see Rocky, which I didn't think was gonna be the case. But like when we started it, I was like, okay, yeah, this is like a movie. All right, all right, all right. And 5 minutes in, I was like, what am I watching? What is this movie? We didn't get past like the doo-wop group that was just hanging out on the street as they do in Philadelphia before I had decided that I wasn't. There are like 30 different vibe checks in this movie, and I failed the check on every single one of them. It's a failing of me. It's not a failing of the movie, everyone says. That's what I was told, that I failed, not the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. So I will say, upon revisit, no, I'm not double backing on my rating because it still is a fair bit lower than it was on my first watch, and I don't understand why, but it went down.
Jack, you fucking coward.
It went up half a star from last night. Still lower than it was the first time I watched it. I have issues with some things in this movie, specifically the date with Adrian. I think that Stallone's not the greatest screenwriter. I like the themes in this movie a lot, but the actual dialogue hurt at times. There's just the boxing itself is okay. I don't know. I'll say I like Carl Weathers a lot. He's him, Mickey, Stallone in some instances, but not as much as I did the first time. This was just a deflating experience for me, but I'm still hopeful for the sequels, because I've been told by people that have seen all the Rocky movies, Rocky is probably the fourth best of them. They like Rocky 3 and Rocky Balboa, and to some extent Rocky 2 more. So I don't know. I'm excited to see the sequels still, but this went down quite a bit on rewatch, and I'm
Jack Pinchuk, you fucking coward. Last night you were on the 2-star train, and then you told me to lower mine because you were gonna lower yours. You fucking coward.
Coho, what's your rating? I think I know it, but I'm not sure. So you say it and I'll put it up.
I'm in hell. This is miserable. I wish you know what? Now I'm mad. I wish I was there for the Rocky call last night so I could like debate you for 2 hours about why you're a fucking idiot. The 4.5. This is like one of the best picture winners. This is like a great movie. Rocky's like everyone says it is the ultimate underdog story for a reason. The movie does such a good job of establishing why you should care about Rocky Balboa as a human being, and why he's an interesting protagonist, and just establishing a very interesting goal. He just wants to go the distance, and to have him achieve it in like, even though it's a loss, it's still like a major accomplishment, and he still is like winning. Like that's a win, a personal win, and like I think that's a great resolution. I think that the movie does a really great job of establishing Rocky as a fighter and like giving him a distinct fighting style, and like giving him and like showing Southpaw and everything that he fights. I think it is like well done. I think that Apollo Creed is incredible. Is one of the best characters in the series for a reason. And I think this is the best we get to see Apollo in any of the movies. I'm like he's still a good character in the next couple, but like I think this is his best. I think he's brilliant. And like how he's not a bad guy. He just wants a fight. He's just trying to fight. And like to have this guy then like go the distance with him is like a personal slight. I think he's like a great antagonist, despite not being an antagonist. I think Paulie is honestly probably the biggest antagonist in this movie, and I think he's great. I think Paulie being the dumb best friend who can't figure out his own shit either, and his friend who's going up is like, just drag me out with you, is like a very interesting side character. I think that Adrian's great. I think that Adrian and Rocky together is a relationship that gets better with each movie. I think that the relationship in Rocky is the only thing that doesn't quite age well. But I don't think it's like a poorly constructed thing inherently. I just think it doesn't age well. I think Talia Shire's great. Her Oscar nomination is super deserved. I think Stallone's Oscar nomination is deserved. I think the best performance in the movie might be Burgess Meredith, and he probably should have won. I think Mickey is the best part of the movie. I think he's a great character. And the way he trains Rocky, I think is like their relationship as it goes through the movie is really sweet. Yeah, I think Rocky's a phenomenal film. And like every sequel that comes after doesn't quite reach the heights of this first movie for me. There's some that surpass it, but like not many. I think Rocky is a special movie, and the story behind Rocky makes the movie even better. So, Rocky's great.
There's not going to be a second episode of this show. I can already tell.
There is.
This is how green was my valley the Coho years. This is what this is now. I can't help but laugh. It's not okay. It's not that I disagree with you, obviously, but I'm not laughing because I think you're like an idiot for your thoughts. I'm laughing because I'm thinking about what I was thinking about last night, which is like when you were talking about Burgess Meredith. I was like, the entire time I was thinking, why is the penguin yelling at me? Like, why are we? I can't help but feel like, oh, the penguin's really aggressive today. Oh my god. Paulie. Oh god. I'll get back to him. I was really concerned for Adrian. Because I was thinking like the first half of the movie, yo, does she talk? Does she have lines? Are she good? And it turns out she's like not good. Like she's not okay. She doesn't really. Oh man, I'm worried about everybody in this movie in a way that I can't possibly describe. Me and Jack, I will say this: we had a great time watching it last night. Jack and I had a wonderful time. From the second it opened to the second it closed, me and Jack had a really great time. We were both in tears watching this movie. I think sometimes for the wrong reasons, frequently for the wrong reasons. Thanks, Veds. This is the worst. This is the worst show that we're ever gonna do.
I'm just gonna say, on my first watch of Rocky way back when, I didn't understand why Paulie's actor, whose name escapes me at the moment, was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for this movie, because I thought he was actively bad, like the worst part of the movie. And I don't get his nomination now even more on this rewatch. It doesn't make sense to me. I'm not a fan of that character at all. And I think that scene where he basically goes berserk in his house, I did not understand where anything was coming from in that scene. I don't know.
I was just thinking, like, is he okay? Like, is he?
No. No, he's not, Alex.
Hang on. No. Not in like a. Hang on. Not in like a. Not like I understand the character's having a hard time, but we never deal with him. We never deal with Paulie. Not once. He's Rocky's friend, and Rocky wants to date his sister. Honestly, you know what scene's really weird? The scene where he throws out the turkey, but also the scene's like, are you screwing my sister? Why do you want to know that? I would never ask anyone that. I would just, why? Why are you like this? Why are you like this, Paulie? Why are you like this? Everyone is so uncomfortable around each other. It's not how like people communicate. And believe me when I tell you that I know a lot of unhealthy people. Some of them are in chat right now.
Wow. Goddamn.
Hey, if I get my sister. I felt like I was watching, like that's ultimately where I kind of landed, was like, I feel like I'm watching Marty again. I'm watching Marty, but with a boxing subplot. And
Oh, you're
I was like, yo, you know what movie didn't need a boxing subplot? Rocky. Rocky's just stuck. Yeah, the you really like Rocky, that low level mob enforcer, who we never deal with that either. He just gets his camp paid for. He gets his camp paid for.
Here's the thing: a lot of the things you bring up are actively addressed and fixed in the first 10 minutes of Rocky 2. So like
okay. In Rocky 2, when we get to Rocky 2, I will apologize for the things that happened in Rocky. But so far, we never like Mickey just agreed to like Mickey was like, all right, we're friends now. Paulie at the end was like, yo, Rock, let's do this. Like, we didn't just have a big fight like 40 minutes ago that we still have to deal with. What's the other thing, Jack? We never deal with the mob boss, and he's just like, here, kid, $500. Good luck in your fight. Which, like, is that the end? Is that the end of the mob boss thing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. He wants no favors. I don't know if I believe.
Here's the thing. A lot of the things that you're bringing up as like unresolved are just like under the impression that those will be resolved later. Like the thing is like when he gives him money, it's basically what you're pointing out is like, yeah, all these people are gonna have to address the relationships later. But the reason why the ending works is because in this moment, this guy that we all set every issue we had aside with each other or with him in that moment, so that this one guy that we all care about, even if we're all not 100% okay with each other, can accomplish this incredible thing. And when he does, it ends in this giant collective moment of, look at you, you did it. You did the thing we wanted you to do. We are fully in support of you. And that's a very real human thing. Like,
I agree.
Not all friendships
I'm not
okay. Like everyone's shit together in like any clean way. Like
I'm fine with the plot of this movie. I don't think it works. I agree that it's on a conceptual level. We're all good. We're all gravy. I think it falls apart kind of like just like structurally for me. It doesn't work. I don't think Sly is the right actor to do this. He's not comfortable in the lead yet. I think like he's not comfortable in it yet. They never really find anything for Talia Shire to like do, but she's good in it. I think honestly probably the best performance is Carl Weathers. I think he is like he's bringing an energy. Carl Weathers and Burgess Meredith are bringing like an energy to this that it like desperately needs. That it's not just loud acting or mumblecore. Sly really was the innovator of mumblecore. I'll say that. I don't think that's right for this film. I think
so.
Sly would get better as an actor, but it's not this one.
I want to push back on Sly not being right for this part because I think Sly is the only actor who could have played Rocky Balboa, like the Rocky Balboa that they've created. I don't think because if you drop a Dustin Hoffman or Robert Redford or anyone at this time in this part, it's a fundamentally different movie. It's a fundamentally different character, and it's not good. I don't think Rocky works with any of those actors in that part. I think that what Stallone has that no other actor in Hollywood at that time really did is he has an everyman quality because he is not a movie star. He is legitimately a random Philadelphia guy who looks like a random Philadelphia guy and talks like a random Philadelphia guy. And he brings that sense of average to that part and that sense of realism that you believe in the idea of this guy who has no shot, who honestly has no shot at being a contender, at being a champion. He's just a random guy. And like that, if the random guy was Robert Redford, you would 100% lose the reality of Rocky because now he's traditionally handsome, every like leading man, gorgeous Robert Redford. Like Robert Redford would have to be Apollo Creed. Like
I was gonna say that's not Robert Redford is like young Robert Redford was like
the reason why I bring up Robert Redford is because he was cast. He's who the studio.
Oh, that would have been bad. That
was supposed to be Robert Redford, and Stallone was like, "No, I'm playing the part, or you don't get the movie."
I wonder if like the only person that I can think of that maybe would have like, I think honestly, if De Niro, like I think De Niro could have been.
I don't think De Niro could play Rocky.
Because he's a movie star, but he's much more of a character actor than he is like
I agree, but I also don't think Rocky. I don't think Rocky like Rocky needs to have the character of Rocky Balboa is someone who is very is like very sure. Is not very sure of himself. He's not a confident human being, but he knows what he wants and he knows what he wants to do. And like De Niro, I don't think I've ever seen him play unconfident in his life. Like every movie I've ever seen De Niro in, De Niro is very sure of himself, just in terms of his body language. Like he just constantly is like a confident human being. There's never been a time where De Niro has played someone who's not confident. Like even like the intern, or what is it, the intern, where he's in love with Anne Hathaway. Like the fucking guy, the fucking guy, like is like a displaced human being, and he's still like, I got all the confidence in the world. I'm gonna make this work. Like Robert De Niro's just utter confidence.
It's too confident. You're
He's
too
too
confident of an
confident.
actor. It's not going to work.
He's too confident to be Rocky. Like that's just the thing. Like that's like he got his boxing movie. He's called Raging Bull, and that guy is confident. So there you go. But like I just like I think Stallone's the
Grudge
only
match.
human on this earth who could play this part this way, and this is the exact way this character needs to be executed in order for it to work. He's just the right level of endearing. He's just that right level of everyman, and entirely comes off as just another guy. But there's just something special about Rocky as a person that you can't quite put your finger on that Stallone just brings that quality to. I just think Stallone's great in this movie. I think this is the second best performance he's ever given in the franchise.
Okay, in the franchise. Okay.
In the franchise,
his whole career.
Second best performance, and like second best time. It's second best in his career too, but just second best he's ever played the character of Rocky, and that just comes later when better material, when he has a better like material to work with. But like, I think this is the best he has ever written himself. This is the best he's ever played the part. This is like in a Rocky movie. I think that Stallone's great, and I do think Carl Weathers is great, and I wish that's my one thing about this movie that I like almost wish there was more of is those two together, because their interactions with each other in this movie are great. Their jawing and everything is great. I love Carl Weathers' interactions with Stallone in the ring, and
They do.
again,
They are a fun contrast. I have
we'll
something
get
to say
more
about
of it in the sequels. Like they get more time together in the next one, but like for that, and that's something that's like, yeah, that gets improved later. But like I think Carl Weathers and Stallone are great together, and like Talia Shire and Stallone are great together, and like Burgess Meredith and Sylvester Stallone are great together. Like those relationships are instantly there. Like you believe the chemistry between everyone to me. So like I think that like it only improves from here, and I'm glad this did spawn this franchise that it did, because it has really like been able to grow with age, and every time they're like, hey, what if we took the next step? What does this guy do next? I think that's really impressive, because Rocky's a movie where really there should never have been a sequel. Honestly, there probably shouldn't have been a sequel to Rocky, and like the movie doesn't feel like it needs one. But I'm glad we got so many sequels to this, because I think a lot of them improve on the material, or at least add to the character and make it something special. But I think this movie is inherently and uniquely an incredibly special movie, just from the story of how it got made to then being executed as well as it was. Does this piss you off? Hold on, I need to know. Does this piss you off that this won Best Director?
I think okay. Here's my breakdown of this.
This
movie,
is the
right?
one I want. I was quite
This is what I think. I think the score is really good. I think the editing is really good. The direction is like fine, but like kind of middling. The acting, I think Carl Weathers is really good. And then there are some other people that I'm like, yeah, the scene was good. The scene, you did fine here. But like ultimately where I first landed, and it probably is where I should have stayed. I lowered it out of spite. I was at 2 stars when we started. When I just posted my review, and then I lowered it because I thought Jack's gonna lower it too. But it turns out he's a fucking coward. As it turns out, he's a fucking coward. So like I couldn't justify calling it like a 3-star, because like I just have too much of it is an ick for me. But like I can't not say that there are like really good qualities of the movie. There are really good qualities to it. I would watch a sequel to it. If you said that there are, I guess we're tied into it now. Really, we're not.
Yeah, if I came to you and said, hey, Alex, there are 7 sequels to this movie, are you ready to watch all of them?
No, but like if you said that it gets better, I'd be like, okay, well, sure, let's like. how much, like, because I know where the series ends up. I do know that there is like light at the end of this tunnel. I just didn't know I was gonna get hit with the train right away. You know what I mean? That's why.
See, to me, we haven't hit the train. To me, the train does. To me, there's one hit. There's one hit from a train. One train is gonna you're gonna ride the train. You're gonna hit 3 stops in a row that are like money. You're gonna hit a 4th stop that you're like, okay, we're kind of that was a little bit of turbulence. 5th stop's gonna be a train wreck, and then we're gonna get back on the rails like barely with a 6th one that like makes sense, and then you're just gonna turn into a fucking like bullet train for the last 2. Like it's just it's a ride with one miss to me, and maybe
I did something. I can tell you which one. There is at least one more Rocky movie that I know. I watched all the trailers today because I was trying to throw together the intro to this, and I know that there is at least one that I am going to hate. There is absolutely one that I know I'm gonna hate that movie. I already know it. I'm gonna be really mad. I won't tell you which one it is.
I'm gonna guess that Alex is gonna hate Rocky 4. I think Alex is gonna walk out of this going, Rocky 4 is an abomination.
I won't tell you which one it is.
I have a question. About this for the show.
Okay.
Yes.
Are we going to double up the Rocky 4 episode where we watch both the theatrical and now the Rocky Drago director's cut that is like
I am absolutely down for that. I'm absolutely
because
down.
I've never seen the Rocky 4 Rocky versus Drago cut that came out last year, but it's supposed to be incredibly different.
We can do
So,
that. I don't mind that.
It was playing at the theater I went to see Spencer when I was in the States, and I just debated seeing that, but I'm like, no, I haven't seen 2 or 3, so I can't watch this. So
like that's the thing is I have never seen the Rocky versus Drago like supercut thing they just put out. Apparently it's really different. So like I'm down. And I think that'd be really interesting is if we get to Rocky 4 to compare the 2 different cuts of Rocky 4. But I think Rocky if you ask me right now how Alex is going to like this franchise. Alex is going to like Rocky 2 significantly more than Rocky 1. Like right now, we'll tell you right now. Because the movie is very much about this character going, like, succeeding off of this failure. And Apollo being like, fucking fight me again, coward. You won't get to the end. And that's the whole movie. The whole movie is just Apollo being like, fucking fight me. And Rocky being like, I'm rich now. And that's Rocky 2. And then Rocky 3 is my favorite Rocky. Like, spoiler alert, it's my favorite non-Creed Rocky movie because it's the one that bridges the gap between the first 2 Rockies that are grounded and the next 2 Rockies that are absurd. And it is hysterical. It is funny. It is what you think of when you think of Rocky. And Clubber Lang's like a great bad guy. It's like Rocky 3 is like the quintessential Rocky to me. And I think Alex is either going to love or hate Rocky 3. It's either I'm all in on Rocky 3 or I'm all out on Rocky 3. And then Rocky 4 will be completely dependent on if you liked Rocky 3. If you liked Rocky 3, you'll be like, yeah, Rocky 4, okay. If you hate Rocky 3, you're going to hate Rocky 4. And no matter what, you're going to hate Rocky 5. That one's just bad. But then I think Rocky 6 you're going to like, not love. I think Jack is probably going to be the highest one on Rocky 6. And then we're all going to walk out of the Creed movies singing Kumbaya because the Creed movies are perfect and have saved cinema single-handedly every year they put out a movie.
Probably.
Creed 3 is going to be Best Picture 2023.
Do you know what I really hated?
What?
The boxing in this movie.
Yeah, this is the thing I really need to know about. What's wrong with the boxing?
So, okay. I'm sure that Mr. Stallone trained really hard for every single one of the movies. Based on the clips that I've seen, he actually does get better the longer that they keep making these movies. He is an extraordinarily bad southpaw fighter in Rocky. Just this first one, I think. I haven't seen the rest of them. But he's a very poor southpaw. And despite being the world heavyweight champion, as it turns out, Apollo has no idea. Like, I guess that's part of it, is that Apollo, the style matchup of fighting a southpaw isn't like a good style matchup. But like, there's a moment where Apollo throws like a straight left or a straight right, and he gets countered with the rear uppercut from Rocky, and that punch mechanically doesn't work. Rocky's lead hand is non-existent. He doesn't know how to move his head, like at all, like 0%. He never once goes whoa, or whoa, or whoa. He never once
holds his
learns
arms
how to
up
do
to
that.
blow.
He never puts his arm, like his hands up.
Okay, so
His
this
body
is the,
shots are atrocious.
this is the
Um,
important thing I think that needs to be taken into account on Rocky 1. And that's
Sure.
like this every choreographed thing is deliberate because Rocky's not a good fighter in this movie. Like that's supposed to be part of the thing. Is he's not
No,
good.
no. I understand
His
that he's
record is, like-
38 and I understand he's 38 and 20. And
Yeah,
no boxing
he's
commission would
barely
ever
positive.
regulate this. No boxing commission would ever regulate this.
No. Like he should never. That's why it's like a huge deal. He's playing. He should have never sniffed a title
No,
shot.
I understand. I said it's. I understand it's part of the story.
Right.
But
so he's
it
not
still
good. He's
drives
taking
me
hit after
wild.
hit. He's taking hit after hit because he's not a good fighter.
No, I get it. I get it. Just it drives me wild that like this was allowed. And you say he's not a good fighter, but like the first thing that happens is he drops him.
Right, because he's like he's not a good fighter. He's just strong. Like, and he gets better. Like Rocky's not a great fighter. He becomes a great fighter as we go on, and like Mickey helps him become a great fighter. Like the training montage is him getting significantly better. If he like goes in pre-training montage, it doesn't go to round 3, but because like Mickey's that good and Rocky wants it that bad, and they train that bad, he's able to do what he does. But in general, Rocky, in just pure skill, does not have the skills to win a belt or even contend for one. And that's why like he takes those hits. It's why he is not doing great on defense or like actual mechanics of moving or jabbing. Like he's not a good skilled choreographed fighter. He's literally a street brawler coming in against like instrument of death that is Apollo Creed. And like that only adds more and more and more to the stakes of the movie and to like the story they're telling of this guy who is not going the distance with the best in the world.
Glad you brought that up. The
Oh, are we gonna
the
say
other-
Apollo's not the best in the world either? God, fuck off.
No. Okay, well, I think the way they played the boxing in the movie doesn't work for the rules of boxing. I think the person that put this movie together saw boxing one time but doesn't fully understand the rules. If you hit the knockdown, you've won the round. You've 10-8'd the round. So and if you hit a knockdown, statistically, you've just concussed a dude. Like statistically, that guy's not doing well. At the end of round 1, when Rocky's already dropped Apollo, he's won the round, but at the end of the round, he's still getting his ass kicked, despite the fact that he should be in the lead. They're like playing it as if Apollo still won the round. They're playing it like Apollo still won a fair amount of these rounds, despite the fact that Rocky had like 3 knockdowns.
I think it's 2. He knocks him down twice, and then Apollo is body blowing him the rest of the fight.
Right.
And
Like,
so Apollo knocks him down
in
in
a
like the
scored-
second last round.
In a scored competition, Apollo would win if it went
Yes.
to the decision because
wouldn't-
Apollo's doing way more damage through the entire fight.
It wouldn't be a split. I think the only reason it's a split decision is because one of the judges is blind. I'm saying that it doesn't. What they are putting on screen and what the screen is telling you are 2 completely different pieces of information, and they are dissonant to me. Like the 2 pieces of information don't flow in the same direction.
Okay.
Okay.
I disagree.
Okay.
I mean, I
We
guess
obviously this is the movie. This and one other movie is going to be the movie that we're like, listen. Listen.
I wonder. I'm now like starting to second guess. Is it going to be Creed 2? Is it going to be the weird one where you're like, fuck Creed 2? Like,
No,
is it
I
gonna
saw
be-
Creed 2. I've seen Creed 2 fairly recently. I really like Creed 2. It's not.
Okay,
even-
I love Creed 2.
It's not
like,
even any
I'm-
of the
I'm-
Creeds. I think
I'm
the Creeds are
entirely in a
generally like
position
great.
where like I fully put Creed 2 on my Best Picture ballot from 2018 with no shame. I think that's one of the
Probably.
best movies of 2018.
Probably.
Like
I
it's
wouldn't be. I wouldn't.
I
be
was
upset
alone
about that.
when we did our little co-Oscars thing recently. I was the only one who nominated for Best Picture, and I'm mad about that.
Well, actually, 2018 is a hard year for me to put it on Best Picture, but I would support it. I'd be like, oh, okay, let's shut up.
And the movie's brilliant.
Jack,
But,
where
like-
are you here? You haven't said anything this entire time. You can.
Well,
go.
this episode this is a debate between the two of you, honestly. No, like
No,
here's the
Jack.
thing.
Here's the thing. I do want to hear your thoughts. You know why?
Jack Coward
Because
Pinfucker
you
over
don't,
here.
Jack. I have a very, very strong sneaking suspicion that you don't have thoughts on this movie. You're just adopting whatever Alex says and running with it.
Jack
And now
Jack
I'm gonna
Coward
make a point.
Pinchuck
you're
watched
gonna
this
make
movie
good
2
points.
times, watched it
I'm-
twice, and said, "You know what? It is really good." And then watched it with me and was like, "You know what? It is bad."
Exactly. And I'm gonna keep making good refuting points to Alex, and Jack's gonna be sitting here going, "Actually, I like this movie again because Caleb." And then you're gonna make points. And he's gonna be like, "I hate this movie again because Alex, you don't have opinions, Jack. You're fucking."
You haven't even let me
I like
try
the score
to
and some
speak
supporting.
yet.
He said, "I like
Okay.
the score and some supporting things, but also the boxing's really good." Jack, you can go.
Okay. Look. Okay. There are things about this movie that I like. Not to just repeat what Alex
Like?
just said, but the score. I said at the very beginning in my little spiel at the very beginning, I said I do like a few of the performances I think are good, specifically Burgess Meredith and fucking I just forgot his name. Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers, thank you. I don't know why I just blanked on his name. I like the score. I think the score is great. The direction I find to be very minimalist for most of the movie, with the exception of the boxing matches. And even then there's anyway. I think the cinematography for the most part is solid. What I have an issue with is the dialogue. I think that whole date with Adrian is painful to watch. And the scene in Rocky's apartment, even more so, where it ends with them kissing. I cannot wrap my head around this romance in this movie. If it gets better in the other movies,
I need to
sure.
address the romance shit because this is starting to get really annoying. They are supposed to make you go, ooh, not because it's weird, but because Rocky is not smart. Like, Rocky does not know how to talk to people, let alone women. And he's doing his best to be really sweet and endearing, and you get that, but you're also going, oh, you're not good at this. And Talia Shire is incredibly awkward because she's never had this happen to her before. So the entire movie is these two people who like each other but don't know how to express it, trying to express it. It's like watching a middle school date, which is what it's supposed to be.
Hold up. Jack, do we still have the scores from Marty? Because I think we all here liked Marty. And that's exactly what this exactly, like, almost word for word what we could have said about Marty.
4.5
I am
for
fine
me,
with
4
that.
for you, and I think 3.5 for Coho.
Fair.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that as a concept, except the way it puts this. Oh my god. I'm glad, Spence, we'll get there. We'll get there for the kiss. The kiss is one of the worst things I've ever seen.
The kiss is bad.
Do you remember when we were talking about Empire? The time you were a coward, and we were talking about Empire.
I was drunk. You can't hold me to anything on that.
So we were once talking about Empire, and I was saying that the Han and Leia relationship in Empire is very bad. I hate Han and Leia in Empire. I think their kiss in Empire, when he's trapped her against the wall, is one of the worst things in Star Wars. Quote me, true facts. Come at me, bro. This is that, except he's trapped her at his house against, literally in a corner with his arms. He's a professional fighter. She works at a pet shop. She apparently has never spoken to a man before, which is fine. I disagree. I don't agree with that as like a premise. I was like, she's cute. She's cute.
It's not that she hasn't talked to a guy. It's that she's never been like outwardly romantic to a guy who is like actually interested in dating her. Like, Rocky is not just trying to like get it in. Rocky is like, I'm trying to put a ring on it from day one. So like, Rocky is in love with her, and like you can tell it's this really pure, sweet,
Get
innocent
it.
kind of love thing.
Rocky's been
From day
stalking
one.
her for the longest time because he's best friends with her brother. He's been stalking her. He shows up every day with a new joke. He says he shows up every day, sometimes twice a day, he says, with a new joke just to try and make her laugh. And every single day she's like, "Get out. Please leave. I don't know. I'm never coming from behind this bird cage. I'm gonna stay here and work on this bird cage." She looks uncomfortable in every scene, and not in like the right way. Not in like a middle school, okay, I guess I'll go on this date with you. It is, my brother is making me go on this date, or he's gonna throw me out of the house that we both live in, but he apparently owns solo. It's the wrong kind of vibe. They got married, I guess, in the later in other movies. They get married, yes, right?
Yeah, they get married in later movies.
Great. They get married. It's almost just from this movie. They get married like Polly gets like 3 goats out of it. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, no.
like Polly gets a cut of all of Rocky's purses in exchange for.
Jesus Christ.
Oh my.
I don't know how this came back to me. Jack was supposed to talk.
Yeah.
Jack's really good at like giving a non-opinion and then passing the conversation off.
Okay. No. I was
No,
giving
a
an
non-opinion is correct.
I
I
actually want to address this quick because this is getting annoying. And then you started talking, and then Alex just picked it up. That's how that happened.
Anyway, I don't think this is the movie that we're gonna come together on. As it turns out.
So the fun I have two additional questions about this before we start ranking things and doing stuff. Have either of you seen The Karate Kid?
Yes.
Okay.
No.
Same director. So which do we think is the better feel-good sports movie? The Karate Kid or Rocky? Because I have a very strong opinion about this.
I haven't seen it, so I have no opinion.
I think both franchises take scarily similar directions also.
That's probably, I mean, yeah, the Karate, well, I guess probably the Karate Kid is, I would say, if you were like, we have to watch one today, we're watching one, I would say the Karate Kid.
I agree. So here's the thing. I'm on Team Karate Kid. I love Rocky, but I think that the Karate Kid is an improvement on Rocky. So like but I also think that Rocky's like the better franchise of the two. But I also think they go in incredibly. It's weird that John Avildsen starts 2 franchises centered around physical combat, and they both go in very similar franchise directions. It's just the Rocky movies made more money so they could make more movies faster. Like if the Karate Kid got nominated for and won Best Picture, we would have 7 Karate Kid movies also. But like the Karate Kid. Okay, both movies start with the central conceit of Rocky and the Karate Kid. Both start with the central premise of an older guy training a younger guy at this martial arts thing, or karate, or physical combat, to overcome the person immediately in front of them and get everything they want. Essentially, to get everything they want. To get the girl, to get the win, everything they want. Fixes everything. And then the immediate next movie picks up where the last one left off exactly. And immediately proceeds to challenge and tear down the main character by putting them in a new environment than they previously had and having to essentially do the same thing again as they did in the last movie, but they do it basically on a slightly more proficient level. Karate Kid 2 is a better sequel than Rocky 2 in the sense of like improving on the original. And then the third one being where all ridiculousness just gets thrown out the window, where they fight an over-the-top bad guy who wins and beats them up. And then the person from the first one who is the bad guy comes back to be their ally to beat the guy in the last one. The Rocky 3, Karate Kid 3, same movie. One was made on a mountain of cocaine, and the other was Rocky 3. and then from there, Rocky goes on in different places that the Karate Kid never got to go on because they had the next Karate Kid, which is essentially like their first attempt at Creed and fails, which I guess makes it Rocky 5 because Rocky 5 is their first attempt at Creed and it fails. And then you get the Karate Kid reboot thing, which is essentially Rocky Balboa, even though like the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith has no connections. Rocky Balboa is kind of the same thing, where it's like almost a full reboot, but not quite a reboot. Like it's a sequel reboot. And then you get Creed and Cobra Kai, which are essentially the same thing, where it's mature, like updated take on these things with our original characters now as adult old supporting characters to a new generation who are infinitely more interesting and better written characters. So like the franchises have gone in the exact same direction, just faster. I think that's wild that Avildsen spawned the same franchise twice.
Huh.
Anyone have opinions?
I mean, I've only seen the Jaden Smith one. I'm sorry.
I've seen Karate Kid 2, the next Karate Kid, and the Karate Kid.
You haven't seen the Karate Kid Part 3?
I've never seen
what's
the
the one
Karate
that's
Kid
going
Part 3.
Japan?
That's the one where they go to Japan, right?
No, that's 2.
Okay. Then I've seen 3 and not 2.
Okay. That's why
Yeah.
you were confused when I was explaining the Karate Kid Part 2.
Yes, I was like, that's not what I remember at all.
The Karate Kid Part 2 is the one where they go to Japan. And then 3, he comes back and he fights Terry Silver, and it's like the singular greatest
That's what
cocaine movie ever made. It's so good. It's so bad it's good. The Karate Kid Part 3 is the definition of a so bad it's good movie.
Which one is the one with Hilary Swank?
That's the next
That's the
Karate
next
Kid,
Karate Kid.
and that one's just bad. That one's
it's
just
not
bad.
good.
There's nothing good about that movie.
Okay.
She's
And the
not
Jaden Smith
talking-
one's terrible also.
She's
That
a
one's
big
awful.
fan of birds, and if she's
a
like,
big fan
she
of
gets in
birds.
trouble because she wants to free a bird, and then she learns karate.
I hope we never see Hilary Swank in Cobra Kai. Like, I just hope they never bring her in. I hope that never happens.
You get a picture in the background. That's your cameo.
True. Okay, so I had the Karate Kid point. I had another point. It's gone. I had another point. It's gone. So I gotta go to the Karate Kid. Hold on, give me a second. I'll find it. Oh yeah. Okay. So the Oscars in relation to Rocky.
Oh, okay.
We'll get more into this in the picture of this episode in like 2 months. But like, Rocky was tied with Network for the most nominated movie at the ceremony in 1976. Both got 10 nominations. Rocky won 3, and it was picture, director, and editing. It didn't win anything else. Stallone
I would
loses.
agree with the editing.
I definitely agree with editing.
Yeah, I can get behind
Rocky beats the following films for Best Picture: All the President's Men, Bound for Glory, Network, and Taxi Driver. Those are the films it beats for Best Picture. And then on the director side, John G. Avildsen beats Alan J. Pakula for All the President's Men, Ingmar Bergman for Face to Face, Sidney Lumet for Network, and Lena Wertmuller for Seven Beauties. So it's widely, I think a lot of people would widely agree that that's where Lumet should have his director Oscar, is Network, because Lumet never won. Like, Sidney Lumet never won an Oscar, which is an insane statement to realize when he's been nominated for a lot of his best work, like Dog Day Afternoon and 12 Angry Men. Stallone loses Best Actor to Peter Finch for Network. Meredith and Young both lose to Jason Robards for All the President's Men. And for some reason, Talia Shire is nominated in Best Lead Actress,
Yeah, that's weird.
where she loses to Faye Dunaway for Network correctly. If she's in supporting, she probably beats out Beatrice Straight from Network.
Okay.
And then Rocky loses original screenplay to Network as well. And then on the technicals, it loses original song to A Star Is Born. It's not nominated for Best Original Score. It loses Best Sound to All the President's Men. It loses, and then it wins editing. So through and through, I think we all agree it deserves film editing. You two don't think it deserves its other 2 Oscars.
Okay.
Well, I haven't seen any of the other nominees. I haven't seen Taxi Driver.
I
haven't seen
almost
Netflix.
like, that's the thing is I almost want to like qualify the statement because like I've not spent a lot of time in the 70s, so like I don't know what the vibe was like. I know the fantasy 70s, but I don't know the Academy Award 70s super well. That's one of the decades I'm most interested.
The 70s, I think, is probably the one decade where the Oscars are consistently hitting.
Yeah.
Like, not even where they're hitting the Best Picture winner, but even if the wrong movie wins Best Picture, it's a really good movie
Sure.
that maybe didn't deserve to win, but it's still a good movie. Like, you have both Godfathers and The Sting and, like, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and then you get Rocky and all that. So like, I think the big thing with Rocky winning has to partially be the story behind how the movie got made, because it is an incredible story of just Stallone being offered, I think it's $3 million, the most money ever for the screenplay for Rocky. And he took the money, but he also was like, he put in a clause where he had to be the main character, and they did not pay him to play the part. Like, they paid him scale. Like, I think they paid him like a couple $1,000s to play the lead role.
Yeah, he had to like sell his dog to like.
He did have to sell his dog before he made the movie, and then he bought his dog back after the movie. And the dog in the movie is the dog. There's like a lot of history to that story. Stallone winning the biggest gamble in movie history. Like, I get that's probably the big narrative that drives Rocky to a win. Especially because the other movies that are nominated that year are so dour. Like, Rocky ends on such a feel-good note, even though he doesn't win. And all the other movies end on such a, like, Network ends in a really cynical, dark place through the run of a very cynical, dark movie about media. And All the President's Men ends in a pretty cynical, dark place about U.S. politics, despite being cynical and dark the entire time about U.S. politics.
That is the thing that kind of that hit me in like a very classic Oscars kind of way, is that like they chose the like schmaltziest ending that they possibly could for Rocky. Like, he loses, but don't worry, he gets the girl, and that's really like, he knows he lost the fight. He's fine with that. But his girl shows up, his bro sneaks her in by causing a scene, and she's like, "We did it!" And, like, they chose like a really like schmaltzy ending for this one. And then based on what I know,
because the schmaltziest would be that he just straight up wins the fight.
No, I don't think that would have.
Yeah, it would be. In every boxing movie they have made up to this point, the guy always wins. Always wins. Your main character always wins the fight, gets the girl, and everything. And Rocky gets the girl, but loses the fight. And that's a huge deal. The fact that he loses is a huge deal.
Hang on. I'm trying to think about other boxing movies that I know from this era. Anyway,
this falls apart the argument. But like, I think the real fight in that year's Oscars is Network versus Rocky. I think those are the two movies that are going head to head. They're the most nominated for a reason against each other. Like, and a lot of people would tell you Network is a better movie. And honestly, I might agree that Network is a better movie. Network is certainly a more important movie than Rocky. But like, I don't know. I feel like there's this like very little movie that could quality about Rocky winning picture that makes you love movies more. And I love Rocky in general. And like, I probably would have given Network director and Rocky picture, but like, Rocky winning director and picture, I'm fine with that. Even though Lumet still doesn't have one. Lumet should have won the year before. Sorry, Milos.
We'll get into that when we get to 75.
You're right, but Milos is going to win anyway. Another one anyway. So take away the first one because he doesn't deserve the first one. Okay, thanks.
Okay, yeah, no, we'll get into that.
Lumet's best job as a director is 1975.
I mean, you got the right numbers, but the 5 and the 7 are in the wrong place.
I also fully believe that, like, going through who they nominated for each category, Shire deserved to lose, Stallone deserved to lose, but Burgess Meredith should have won. Like, he's the one, when you look at the 5 in that year, he's better than Ned Beatty in Network. He's better than Burt Young in Rocky. I think he's better than Jason Robards in All the President's Men, who did win. And I've never seen Laurence Olivier in Marathon Man. Boat swears up and down. That's a great performance, but, you know, whatever. Of the 4 that I've seen out of that 5, Burgess Meredith is running away with that Oscar to me. Like, he's the best of those 4, and it's not close. And it's kind of insane that Burgess Meredith, who is a 2-time Oscar nominee, never won, didn't win for what is probably up there next to the Penguin as the most iconic role he ever played in his career. And like, Meredith is phenomenal in this movie, like the best. And I think like giving maybe the best performance, not maybe, is giving the best performance of his career. Burgess Meredith, an incredible character actor through his entire career, should have won because Robards is fine. Beatty is fine. Young is fine. Like, no one else in that class is giving a great performance besides Burgess Meredith. Like, to be clear, Peter Finch is category frauded in Best Actor and should have won Best Supporting Actor for Network. Should have happened. Peter Finch should have been their supporting pick, and he would have won regardless. And then William Holden can win his second one that year, probably for Network, and they can complete all 4. But I think it's nuts. Like, I don't know if that isn't an insane take. Meredith is the best. Like, Robards is nothing special in All the President's Men.
I haven't seen All the President's Men, so I have no opinion.
I also think this is like one of the best Oscar classes of all time off the nominees. Like, in one year, you get Rocky, Taxi Driver, Network, and All the President's Men. Are all nominated for Best Picture in the same year is an insane lineup. And that's why, like, if someone came up to me and was like, I pick All the President's Men over Rocky, I'm like, sure. I get it. It's not like you're walking up to me and saying, like, I take, some More American Graffiti, the sequel, over, like, The Godfather Part 2. Like, it's not like some random thing that got nominated that you're like, oh, it's better.
It's not like I take Don't Look Up over Coda.
There, yes. It's not like you're saying I think Don't Look Up is the best movie of its year. Like, that's not what you're saying. Like, it's like a great class. Alex making that face as if
No. I've just in the past week I've had 4 people reference Don't Look Up to me, and it makes me think, was that movie more important than than I thought it was? Like, and one of them wasn't even in this sphere. One of them was like in the, like, a movie I saw Don't Look Up, and I was like, why? Why did you do that? Why did you do that to yourself? No, I thought it looked good. No, it didn't. Who said it was good? What are you talking about? Sorry.
I'm also just looking at the fun, like, it's always fun to go back to on the Wikipedia, you can see who presented at the Oscars that given year.
Okay.
The category of Best Supporting Actors was presented by Sylvester Stallone and Muhammad Ali.
Yeah,
Like,
they had a
presented
together.
What are other fun ones from that year?
My script.
Chevy Chase explained voting rules to the public. Jack Nicholson presented Best Picture. He does that quite a lot, actually.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and the conductor for the evening was Bill Conti. So for a fact they done fucked up on not nominating his score, so they let him conduct the Oscars. It's exactly what they did. It's what they're going to do this year when Michael Giacchino gets to conduct the Oscars because he's not on the damn short list for the Batman. Like, how do you... Okay, we haven't gotten to do this yet on Picture, so I'm going to diatribe for half a second.
Yeah.
How, in God's name, did we put together a list of 15 scores, of the 15 best scores to consider for being the 5 best? It's not even we're picking the 5 best now. The top 15 of the year. And you don't even put the Batman on the list. What is reality? To quote Kate Hudson in Glass Onion, what is reality that we are not considering the Batman one of the 15 best scores of 2022? What world do we live in that is not the case?
We live in the darkest timeline, but
we are in the darkest timeline.
While we're here, am I wild for wanting to put Kate Hudson in my Best Supporting Actress? Because I think she's great. She's in yours? Yeah!
She's incredible.
Yeah!
I entirely believe that Kate Hudson might be my favorite performance in the entire movie. Like, I think she's incredible.
Yeah, suck it, Spence. This is what I talked to Spence
about
this.
Hang on.
Welcome to the Glass Onion part of this.
What? Daniel Craig and Janelle Monáe are right there.
Daniel Craig is not quite as good as he is in the last movie.
He's not. Janelle
Monáe is good.
Maybe he's not as good as he was in the last one, but he's still better than every other actor there, other than maybe Janelle Monáe and maybe
he's not the best actor in the movie.
No, he's second best.
Hold on, wait. Jack Pinchuk, I need to ask a clarifying take. You walk into a giant ensemble murder mystery comedy, stacked this cast of supporting people who are only going to be in the movie once. every time. Totally new people, totally new performances. And you
Okay.
have this ensemble where you have Edward Norton, Janelle Monáe, Kate Hudson, Dave Bautista putting in career work. All of them putting in some of the best stuff they've ever done. In the case of Bautista, the best he's ever done.
Mm.
And you're going to turn and look at me and go, but Daniel Craig.
It's not.
Like, he shouldn't be the 8th most interesting person in this movie. He's the voyeur. Why would he be the best performance?
I didn't say he was the best. I say he's my second favorite. Also, second best. Also, no, I do think
Is
it's
first
close
best
between
Kate
him and
Hudson?
Thornton.
Is
No,
first best-
she's like
is-
4th or 5th. Like, here's the thing. Janelle Monáe, Edward Norton, and Daniel Craig are neck and neck.
Not Norton, specifically not Norton. Sorry.
Norton is
Not
very
Norton. No, he's not.
Dave Bautista probably next. I don't know, because Catherine Hahn, Peg, and Leslie Ohm Jr. don't get as much to do. I don't love their performances as much. I still really like them, but I think those 4 at least are all better than Kate Hudson.
I think you're insane. Hold on. You think Catherine Hahn and Leslie Odom Jr., who get nothing to do, are better than Kate
No,
Hudson?
no. Sorry, I should have rephrased what I said. The 4 that I listed before them, in Janelle Monáe, Daniel Craig, Edward Norton, Dave Bautista, are all better than Kate Hudson.
I can grant you maybe Monet, and I can grant you maybe Batista. Norton's not better.
Hmm.
I love Edward Norton in the movie. I think Edward Norton is great in the movie. I don't think Edward Norton, who is doing a really fun subversion of the Edward Norton thing to turn into an Elon Musk-like character, and he's doing a really fun, subdued Edward Norton performance. Kate Hudson, I don't know how you can walk out of Glass Onion, see the commitment to character that Kate Hudson gives. She is giving Billy Lord in Booksmart energy. Like, she is wholeheartedly committed to a character with absurd dedication and killing it. Like, killing it is consistently funny. There's no moment in all of Glass Onion where Kate Hudson is anything less than stellar in every scene. I don't know how you can look at me and tell me that Kate Hudson, the funniest joke in the movie is Kate Hudson.
There are 5 or 6 incredible performances in that movie, and I think she just happens to be on the lower end of those incredible performances.
I think Kate Hudson has the best moment in the movie.
Yeah.
She has the 2 funniest jokes in all of Glass Onion are Kate Hudson. She absolutely crushes the top 3 jokes. I can keep thinking of them. Literally, she crushes the opening. Hey Alexa, Shazam the song. I can't Shazam this. It's a lamp. It's an incredible joke. Okay, second best one is, don't tell me that you thought that sweatshops are made where they made sweatpants. Incredible, funniest joke in the movie. And the best line delivery of the entire film. So dumb, it's brilliant. No, it's just dumb. He sets up. No, it's just dumb. She's the tee up for him to hit a home run. She's supporting everyone else's performances in such a strong, powerful way.
So
I think Kate Hudson.
yeah,
I think Kate Hudson is the best.
Kate Hudson really is the center of. She really is the center.
Look, I just okay. I'd like quick clarification of one thing, because about a week ago, maybe a little less than that, you said the best line read in the movie was Daniel Craig saying "jackass," and now you're saying this. Which one? Pardon?
No. Line reads and lines are not the same thing. Like, the way Daniel Craig says "jackass" is not as good as the way that, like, Kate Hudson is in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like, performance and specific line reads are not, like, equivalent.
No. I was just asking for clarification on that one thing, because you said best line read in the movie was Kate Hudson saying "so dumb it's brilliant." No, it's just dumb.
It might be. Like, I don't know. I might be switching that opinion to that one now. I don't know, man. I love Glass Onion, so like I just think Kate Hudson is the star of that movie to me. Like, absolutely killing it. Also, that opening is the most frustrating thing. It's my favorite scene in the movie. I love the opening. The reason why I'm frustrated is because Leslie Odom Jr. gets to absolutely shine in the opening scene. He's amazing.
Yes.
Nothing after.
Absolutely nothing.
What an absolute bummer.
That-
What
that
an
is
absolute
his
bummer
best
that they get
scene in the
Leslie
movie
Odom
by
Jr. to get
far,
one
and
great
it's-
scene.
Yeah, that is his best scene in the movie, and it's not close.
Whereas Catherine Hahn is just like there. I actually think she's the worst performance in the entire movie. I think Catherine Hahn is the biggest
I
disappointment.
probably agree with you. She just doesn't get anything to do. She's
I don't
still
know why they got
good.
Jessica Henwick to be in it. They could.
I think Jessica Henwick is part of the best scene in the movie, so I'll give her that. She's part of it. She's a big reason why that scene's great.
Anyway, this is becoming.
We've gotten so far off topic.
We have. So let's go back to Rocky.
Nope.
So wait, are we just
by default? Well, by default, this is number 1 on the ranking list because it's the
Yes.
only one we have.
yes? By default,
Hey,
this
good-
is number 1.
Good job,
I
Leslie.
wanna
You did
do
it.
2
Rocky number 1.
podcasts within podcasts to add to ranked lists. I
Oh,
want to
no.
add. I want to add. Alex can name them any way he wants.
Training montages.
Training montages and villains. I think those are the 2 things we need to rank: our villains and training montages alongside the actual movie.
Well, we need to for this. I don't want to do us singing because, as it turns out, that like none of us can sing. I thought at least one of us could sing. It turns out none of us can. We got to find the clip from like Swiss Army Man. The montage song. From Swiss Army Man. The like. Oh, Jack, you've never seen it. Okay, well.
No, I've never seen it.
Basically, it doesn't matter. I'll show you later. Montages. This was really good. That's all I got. It's a really good montage. I like the editing on it. It's the only part of the movie where Philadelphia has people in it. Because otherwise the city is like empty. Like when they filmed the final fight, it's a warehouse and they just kept moving extras around. It looks like. They got like one little girl with the flag.
Okay, wait. You when you said one little girl, I was reminded of possibly the weirdest scene in the movie where it just turns into a scare movie for 5 minutes. Where Rocky's like, you start swearing and you're gonna become a whore. It's like, what are we doing here?
Yeah, you can't swear because you'll become a whore. And then we moved right past it.
Remember that girl becomes important later.
Does she?
Yep.
Oh no!
I can't wait to have to come back to Rocky.
You all need to remember every character who has a name in this movie.
Oh God, it's the Wizarding World. Okay, well, honestly, at this point, I think I will have to revisit Rocky when we're done with all of his I'm gonna watch Rocky before I watch every single one of the other entries, just to remind myself of what we're doing here. Oh God, I'm gonna be miserable the entire time. What are the other things we have to do?
It's gonna be a minute before she becomes important, but
okay. Well, then I'm not gonna do that.
She becomes important again. Like, I don't know.
It's not the Sheamus thing where you're like, oh, Sheamus's explosive thing. That's gonna be really important in like 6 movies.
No, it's that thing where it's like you're entirely gonna forget that anyone from this movie exists, and then you're gonna come back with enough distance that when they do show up again in a different way, you're like, oh yeah, those were people from the first movie.
Okay.
And now they're important, I guess. Is essentially how it's going to be. Like, the only people you immediately need to remember for the next 5 movies are Rocky, Apollo, Paulie,
Adrian.
and Adrian.
Okay.
And Mickey. Those are the only 5 that
he was like, is Mickey okay? Is Mickey okay? I thought I saw him in some trailers.
Well, he might not be okay.
Yo-ho.
And what's the last one? Because you said the movies, the training montages, and what?
Oh, the villains. Everyone's gonna be number 1 default for now, but we will come back. Which on this one we have to rank Apollo Creed, right? He's the bad guy.
Is he?
Apollo / Paulie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is he? I don't know about that. The thing is, I almost think like Apollo isn't like a bad guy. He's just like, come on, maybe let's get a fight going.
He's not a bad guy, but he's the antagonist of the film, I would say.
Yeah, and they don't have, and they don't have like an antagonistic like relationship. Really, I mean, he's
Not
number
really.
one, but I think like at the end of this, he's gonna be like at the end of this, he's gonna be like at the bottom of the list almost, because like everybody else, at least from with my experience, has been like way more aggro.
Well, okay. I think Apollo in the next movie is going to rank higher on the bad guy
That's
list.
fair.
Because in the next movie, he is much more an antagonist than this one. But yeah, I think every movie from here on out has a clear antagonist or a clear villain, and this one is the only one where it's a little muddled in terms of who he's actually like, who is the bad guy. And then the next time we'll have to ask this question again is Creed. We'll have to ask this question again when we get to Creed, where it's like, who really is the bad guy of Creed?
Yeah.
But otherwise, Apollo and Polly, I would
Eddie
say
Hearns. Eddie Hearns is the bad guy in Creed. Great. Glad we did that. Jack, I hope you wrote all that down.
Yeah. Next, we come back tomorrow. We're going to be doing Lawrence of Arabia.
Yeah.
I have to finish that tonight, and I hate myself because I don't like this movie. We'll get to that tomorrow.
Alex, have you started the movie yet?
What?
Then
Yeah, it's going down. I finished it. It just keeps. I finished. I thought we were gonna do an episode this last week.
yeah.
Spoilers. I started where my review. I posted a review. It has gone down since then.
Yeah. Then we have Rocky 2, part of the Creed 3 countdown, and then later it's Tom Jones. So yeah, we got that to look forward to, I guess. We don't have an outro this week, so I guess I'll just throw this up and say bye to everyone. Bye.
I'll also watch Rocky 2.